Hi, Keith Wilson here, and today I want to show you the very powerful import feature built into ACT 2010. Now before I start, I just want to make you aware of something which no doubt you'll notice as soon as I start anyway. This lesson was recorded using ACT 2009, but the reason I haven't modified it for this presentation is simply because the process is exactly the same in both versions. So rather than reinvent the wheel, I thought it best to be productive and simply recycle this one. So that said, let's get started because I have a lot to show you and I guarantee it will provide you with fantastic value.
I want to show you how you can quickly and easily get data in from your Sage 50 account software, your Outlook contacts, or an Excel spreadsheet. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to look at my customers within my Sage 50 accounts program. Okay, here's my customer list. And what I want to do is export all of this data as a CSV. Now, a CSV is the industry standard format and stands for comma separated values, which in simple terms means that each one of these columns is separated by a comma. And that's how the relevant application that's going to import the data in distinguishes between one field and the next. Okay, so within the customer list, we want to choose from the toolbar Reports. Okay, here's our customer reports list. We want to open the customer details reports. And the one we want to choose is customer record CSV. We want to output this to a file, so depending on what option you typically have selected, file is what we want to choose, and then generate report. The first thing we need to do is give it a file name, so I'm going to call this Sage Customer List. And we have to choose a suitable output type. Now PDF is a Adobe Acrobat file, and what we actually want to choose is comma separated values. Typically a CSV will be associated with Microsoft Excel, so when you open that particular file, Excel will open in advance, and then subsequently the file that you're selecting will open within that application. Okay, so we've given it a file name, we've chosen the file type, and now we simply need to choose where to save it to. I'm going to save it to my desktop and click on Save. Sage now asks which of those customers I want to export. If I leave everything as is, by default, all customers will get exported. So I'm simply going to click OK. So nothing difficult there. That has now exported all of those customers which I have within my Sage Sales Ledger out to a CSV file which now can be read within Microsoft Excel. So let's now open that file. Here we are in Microsoft Excel. If we open up that file on our desktop, you may notice that we can't actually see that file, and the reason we can't see that file is that we're only selecting Excel files. So if we click on the drop down list here and choose text files, which includes CSV, now we can see there's our file, and if we highlight that and click on open, there's all of the data from our Sage customer list that we've exported. Now, several things that we need to do from here, and a couple of differences between a CSV and a standard Excel spreadsheet. Typically, a CSV does not allow any formatting, so no bold, no colouring of the fonts, no font changes. Typically, it's standard text. That's one major difference. What we also need to do with our CSV is actually get the data in a format that we want to import. Now, by default, the information that's exported in that particular Sage report that I chose also includes some financial data. Now, I don't want this imported. I'm simply going to choose customer, contact, address, phone number, and fax number. Okay, so how do we play around with this data? Well, first off, we need to remove the columns of data that we do not wish to import. Now again, one that you may or may not want to is the account reference field. In this instance, I don't want to import this data, so I simply highlight the column by clicking on the column heading, right click and choose delete. I'm going to do exactly the same for these other fields to the right of the fax number. Once I've highlighted them all, right click and choose delete. Okay, one other thing that I would also do with your file is to actually put some column headings in. The reason I choose to do this is that it's significantly easier to map the fields from your Excel spreadsheet into the relevant data fields within ACT when you do the import. So again, if I highlight the row, first row, right click and choose insert, I can now put in some column headings. Now, one thing to note again at this stage is that Sage 50 accounts only has 5 address fields. Within ACT, you have by default 6, but you can have as many address fields as you wish. So I'm just simply going to choose address 1 and 2, and I'm going to map the other fields to city, county, and postcode. Okay, the very last thing that I would also recommend that you do is actually enter another column of data. And what I want this information to include is where this particular data has been imported from. So I'm going to choose the field that we use within ACT is referred by. Another term could be source of data. And I'm going to type in there Sage 50 accounts. Now, if you're not familiar with Excel, one thing that you can do is pre-populate additional fields with the same data that's in another cell. And the way that we do this is simply highlight the focus field, and in the bottom right-hand corner of the cell, highlight the crosshair, simply drag down holding down the left mouse button, choose the last cell and let go. And as you'll see, it's pre-populated that column all with the same information. Now, once we're happy with our import file, we simply click on Save. Now, by default, you will be prompted with this particular dialog box. All this is basically saying is that the CSV file format does give you certain restrictions, and you simply click on Yes.